Okay, this is from agolerhill.wordpress.com. My Scientology story. Indoctrination, betrayal, escape, freedom. This blog's got it all. My great escape, or how I got the hell out of there with nothing but the clothes on my back. Ann Hill, July 12th, 2019. I definitely plan on telling the story of how I got into Scientology and what I went through for nearly 2 decades. I promise. But this post is dedicated to what I call my Freedom Day, August 3rd, 2007. A bit of background: I was living at Scientology's spiritual headquarters. Makes me gag just writing this. The Flag Land Base in Clearwater, Florida, by working 18 to 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, as a Sea Org member. If you don't already know what the Sea Org is, I'll explain as best as I can. It's a particular group within Scientology composed of the most dedicated Scientologists who have to sign a billion-year contract to join. It's about as military as you can get outside the military. You wear uniforms, you have ranks, you eat crappy food, sleep in crew berthing when you get to go to sleep, and work together all the time. Unlike the military, however, you don't get paid, sometimes a $40 a week allowance if you're lucky, and you can never leave to see your family unless it's a special circumstance in which they make you jump through hoops. At Flag, I was a director of promotion and marketing, responsible for all the hyperbolic bullshit they spewed out every week. Have you seen a copy of their Source magazine? You'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, back to the escape story. It was my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, and I really wanted to go, especially since I missed their 50th, because I was an executive at Golden Era Productions, where Scientology International Headquarters is located. I didn't even get to call them at that time, but I'll tell you more about that later. In this case, since I was at Flag in Clearwater, I was only 50 miles away from my parents' home in Lakeland, Florida. It would have been a PR flap for Scientology if I didn't go. At least that's how I played it, so they'd let me loose. The only way I got to go was to have my statistics up for the week, meaning produce more than the week before. Then I had to write a CSW, a sort of petition, which had to get approved by the executive structure. All this just to go see my family for 1 day. Seems crazy now, but it was completely normal at the time. Also, Jenna Miscavige talks about this as a child. As a child. I guess I was convincing enough because I got approved to go. Luckily, the Clearwater branch or Enterprise car rental rented cars to Sea Org members from Flag, even without a credit card, since most of us didn't even have a bank account. It's more control. I drove out to Lakeland to attend the anniversary celebration. It was a beautiful occasion, and my entire family was there. A bit of an aside here. You may be thinking, well, you were in a car driving away. Why didn't you just leave at that point? To do that, I'd have to be of the opinion that I needed to escape. I wasn't at that point yet. However, I got to that point pretty quickly. Know what I noticed at the anniversary celebration? How kind everyone was. How much fun we were having. How happy they all were to see. These were such foreign concepts to me at the time. I felt like I was in a completely different world. In fact, I felt so good that I didn't want to go back that night, even though I only had leave for a few hours. My older brother Al and his wife Lynn were staying at a local Holiday Inn and asked me if I'd like to stay with them for the night. A good night's sleep in a comfy bed? Oh, definitely. The next morning, I head back to Clearwater, bright and early, so happy to have had the opportunity to be with my family. For a few hours, I felt rejuvenated. Little did I know what fresh hell awaited me. This should be good. My exit phase. Snapping out of my coma. I got back in time for morning muster, so nobody had any idea I hadn't been there all night. We had 3 musters every day, for children as well, they do, where we all gathered together, lined up, and were accounted for. Like I said, the Sea Org is as military as it gets. Even in the military, you don't have that many formations. After muster, I was immediately called into a meeting with one of my bosses, the deputy executive director of the place. Prestigious executive. She started screaming at me almost immediately. I was used to this because I'd been screamed at a lot. But this time I felt something different. Because mind you, she had just seen all that kindness. It was swelling up inside me like something had been brought back to life after laying dormant for many years. The thoughts were so strong. What am I doing here? Why am I putting up with this? It's called boundaries. I don't know what coming out of a coma would feel like, but I imagine this was pretty close. I realized I didn't have to be there anymore and go through this, but I said nothing except, yes, sir. That's right. Men and women officers in the Sea Org were all called sir, including children. She told me I had to stay up all night and finish the mail order campaign that was due. She made sure I knew that by not getting it done, I was causing the downfall of Scientology. See how they always beef it up? I was listening to someone the other day talking about that if they didn't have their stats up, that it was going to be something like the fall of mankind or something real crazy. Causing the downfall of Scientology. Oh, if only that were the case. I said I'd get it done, then I went back to my office and told my staff to go home. I said that this was my problem to deal with, so off they went. I spent the rest of the night deciding if I was really going to leave. I went back and forth in my head. It was excruciating. She's reaching the final, like, what do you call it? The final, like enough is enough, I mean, if I left, I'd be leaving behind my entire worldview and everything I'd spent nearly 20 years dedicating my life to. It was an admittance that I'd made a huge mistake. It also meant that I'd never see any of my friends again because they wouldn't be able to communicate with me. It meant I'd be declared an SP or suppressive person, i.e., an enemy of Scientology. Most importantly, at the time, it meant that I would be forfeiting my spiritual eternity. You see, it's the guilt. Seriously, that's what we were taught. So this wasn't a light decision, but I knew that I had to get out of there. Something inside me was saying, run. I wrote a long letter, left it on my desk, and walked out with only the clothes on my back and whatever was in my purse. Everything else stayed behind. I didn't care. I knew this was my chance and that I had a very small window to get out of there before they found out I was gone. Up next, my exit phase 2 on the road again. I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.